Namaste. My name is Karthik Krishnan B, the principal of Surana Independent PU College located at Pinya, Bangalore. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. We were the culture which taught the world Acharya Devo Bhava, which means at the highest pedestal in any society is the Guru. Today, on the occasion of Teachers' Day, I am here to request everyone who is listening to this video to bring back the respect that the teacher deserves. Now, the moment you look at the headline here, bring back the respect, there should be something that's wrong. Is it a case that the respect is lost? Is it a case that the respect is not there? Or is it the case that people have forgotten to respect the Guru? The answer is all of the above. To just give you a glimpse of what's happened to our society today, to what it was before, I would just like to bring a few points which talks about what happened to a Guru then and what's happening to a Guru right now. Back then, in the traditionally old times, where the Guru Shishya Parampara was in full flow, we know, we have heard of stories and we have heard of realities that a disciple used to stay with a Guru for close to 15 years, doing all the odd tasks that the Guru asked him or her to do, and finally he used to come out enlightened, he used to come out knowing the tricks of the trade. And all this was possible because the parents and the system had so much of trust in a Guru, had so much of trust in a teacher. Today, do we have the same amount of trust in a teacher? The answer is a sad no. Now, why do I need to look back at the old times? Let's look at what's happened in the last 15 years, 20 years, 25 years. I still remember when I was in school, I'm sure most of you who are watching this video would relate to me as well. If I went back home and told my parents that my teacher scolded me, my parents in turn would have scolded me even more. They would have said, you deserved it. You would have done something, and that's one of the reasons why your teacher has really disciplined you. This was the situation 15 years ago, 20 years ago. Look at what's the situation today. If a child goes back home and tells a parent that, hey, this teacher scolded me in the class today, done. Forget about only the parents coming to the school or the college the next day. We will have the neighbors, we will have the relatives, we will have the media, we will have the lawyers, we will have the police. Everyone will be there the next day in the school asking questions to the teacher. How dare you scold my child in front of others? This is the situation of a teacher today. Today, a teacher is scared of disciplining a child. Gone were the days when the teacher was responsible for instilling moral values and instilling ethics in a child. Today, what's happening? Is a teacher really interested in doing that? The sad answer is no. Now, why is this answer coming? This answer is coming frankly because of the harassment that each of the teacher faces on a daily basis. Simple logic. In the past, when people were not so educated, now there's a difference between educated and literate. In the olden times, people were not educated, but they were literate enough to understand who is good for my child. So the parents of the yesteryears really understood that, hey, a teacher is a professional. He or she knows what he or she is doing. So let me leave the job disciplining my child in the school or college to the teacher. Let me not interfere. That's how it was. But today, the number of people who are educated are more, and unfortunately, literacy in terms of common sense is very less. Today we have parents coming, barging into the classrooms, barging into the staff rooms, barging into the principal's chamber and questioning a teacher. I don't have a problem in you questioning a teacher. We really don't have any issues if you criticize. But please understand how you criticize and how you put forth your point. Today, parents feel that it is a thing of a fashion. It's a privilege. It's a pride where you go and ask questions to a teacher. You go and ask questions to the school management or the college management. You want to show to everyone out there that, hey, I know things. I am also well aware of what's happening out there. No, there's no problem in you knowing it. We really appreciate you if you really come and share your concerns. But the way in which you are criticizing a teacher is the biggest problem. You want to criticize the shortcoming of a teacher, do it in person. Don't do it in front of your child. But unfortunately, when I look at the sad reality today, I have parents walking in, barging in, and keeping their children next to them, and the parents are shouting at the teachers using abusive words in the presence of the child. Now, you just need to understand one thing. What is it that you want to prove at that instant? Do you want to prove that you're more powerful? Agreed, you're more powerful. Do you want to prove that you're more knowledgeable? Agreed, you're more knowledgeable. But what are you losing? You are losing an ability to teach your child what respect actually means. When you are shouting at a teacher in the presence of your child, do you think the child will be able to give respect to the teacher from the next day onwards? Why the next day? From the next moment onwards? Never. And that attitude will just stick in their head. They will think teachers need not be respected. Gurus need not be respected. Elders need not be respected. You can just question people for the sake of questioning. Point is very simple. What is it that you want to inculcate in your child? Do you want your child to understand what respect is all about? Or do you want to put that thought in your child that, hey, it does not matter. No matter who's done something wrong, you go barge, you go shout, you do everything that's possible in your control. If this is what you want to teach them, then all the very best. Your child is going to have a very, 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 very long journey ahead. He or she has to bow down to managers. He or she has to listen to elders. He or she has to listen to his bosses. And if you do not teach them the concept of respect at a younger age, they will be they'll be learning it in a very, very difficult way sometime later. So point is very simple. Don't think that the job of a teacher is really easy. Most of us have this logic that if you don't end up being in any profession, just become a teacher. Now, is it so easy? It's definitely not. Corona has taught you. I don't need to give you any more example. Corona has taught us how difficult it is to handle children at home. You're struggling to handle 2 children. You're struggling to handle your own kids at home. Imagine how a teacher would be struggling to do that on a daily basis, having 50, 60, 80, 100, 120 students or children inside the class. It's definitely not an easy task. A teacher spends on an average 3 to 4 hours in a day in order to prepare for a 1-hour class. That's the amount of time that the teacher actually spends for that 1-hour class. So the amount of preparation that goes in to make that 1-hour class is immense. It's just that we don't seem to acknowledge that. Coming to unrealistic expectations, the educated parents, the so-called educated parents or the educated generation of today want everything like this. They do not have the patience to understand that every child has his or her own pace in which they learn. The moment a kid is put into pre-nursery or pre-KG or whatever you call it, the first question that parents have when they go approach the teacher is, Is my son able to understand words? Is my daughter able to master so many words out there? We are teaching them the concept of race right from such a young age. When I start interacting with coaches, especially cricket coaches or badminton coaches, the amount of expectation out there is huge with the current parents out there. They want their children to become Virat Kohlis overnight. They want their children to become Saina Nehwals overnight. It does not happen that way. You cannot get 100 on 100 overnight. It does not happen that way. Every child has his or her own pace with which they study. So do not put unrealistic expectations on your child, which in turn puts a lot of pressure on the teacher to perform. We are running behind ranks. The teacher is under immense pressure to produce results. 100% results. First rank, otherwise nothing. We all need to understand. We all went through an education system where even if we did not get a first rank, we still managed to live our life in a better way. Ranks or marks are not everything in life. So do not put so much pressure on your child or put so much pressure on your teacher or the system to ensure that marks alone is going to fetch success. Unfortunately, that's not the case. Coming back to Corona. Corona has taught us one more lesson. That change is inevitable, but at the same time, change is not easy. The moment the classes were shifted to online mode, there was this immediate scrutiny of teachers. People expected us to become software engineers overnight. People expected us to become animation creators overnight. People expected us to become YouTube creators overnight. It does not happen that way because we were not ready for it. Nobody expected the whole world to turn upside down, especially coming to the teaching profession. Look at the amount of memes that were created. Look at the amount of amount of teachers who were being ranked live when the classes were going on. Look at the amount of disturbance, humiliation that the teacher has had to go through. Nobody ever talks about it. But unfortunately, we went through it on a daily basis. At the end of the day, what was most important was we had to do justice for the children who are listening to us. So all I ask of the people who are watching this video today, you need to understand one thing. Teachers are the guidelights. They are the people who will show you the direction. Don't put their light off. Instead, let them glow. Because the more they glow, the better they are able to show the path to your child. I'm not saying don't criticize them, don't ask questions. In fact, I keep telling my children, the students out here, ask teachers as many questions as possible. Because the more questions do you ask, the better a teacher prepares for the next class. Last but not the least, I would just like to share my experience about how it has been. I wouldn't say that I was an amazing student. Of course, yes, I was also involved in irritating teachers. I was involved in pulling teachers' legs. I was involved in abusing teachers. I do understand the kind of mistakes that I've made. But I only realized the mistakes that I made when I became a teacher. Until I became a teacher, ridiculing a teacher or making fun of a teacher was the highest sort of entertainment for a child in the class. But the moment I became a teacher and I was made to experience the same thing from my students, I was able to relate to the mistakes that I made as a student. So it's important for all of us to understand. You will only understand the problem a person faces when you stand yourself in his or her shoes. Teachers are the only creatures, I'm saying creatures, who handle life forms. We don't handle systems. We are not dealing with computers every day. We are not dealing with softwares every day, where if there is a mistake in a program, you just delete it and you create a new program for itself, and the program would start to function well. It does not work that way. We are dealing with lives. We are dealing with kids who come from different backgrounds. We are dealing with kids who have different psychological mindsets. We are dealing with kids who come from different emotional backgrounds. We are dealing with kids who come from families that are separated. We are dealing with kids who have divorced parents. We are dealing with kids who don't have parents. We are dealing with kids who have amazing influence of the social media that is around. And most of the times the influence is a bad one. And in spite of all that, we wake up every day in the morning to come here and look at these amazing faces, and we only hope to bring a smile on their face. We go through so many challenges. It's just that nobody really acknowledges us for what we do. The biggest of the systems in the world, the greatest of the countries in the world have always respected teachers. And it's only because of the respect to a teacher that a society really becomes what it is. So on this Teachers' Day, I would like all of you to bring back the respect to the teacher, and the respect to the teacher that a teacher deserves. To all the teachers out there, each one of us are doing an amazing job. Let us not just get wavered by what is going on around us. Let us not be bothered by the attitudes of certain parents. Let us keep doing our job on a daily basis, just like what we have been doing so far. As Dr. Abdul Kalam says, what would you like to be remembered as, was one of the questions that was posed to him. He could have said, I would like to be remembered as the former president of India. I would like to be remembered as the missile man of India. I would like to be remembered as the rocket scientist of India. He could have said all those things. But do you know what he said? He said, I would like to be remembered as a teacher. So I'm a proud teacher here, wishing all my fellow teachers a very, very, very happy Teachers' Day. Remember, all the hard work, all the toil is definitely going to bear fruit. Just have a little bit of patience. Build that little bit of patience than what you have today. Here's wishing all of you a very, very happy Teachers' Day. Thank you so much. It's time to bring back the respect to a teacher. Namaste.